Welcome to another day in the Matrix. This is Waters Above. It's the unholy week of the unholy days. If you know, you know. But regardless, I'm sending y'all lots of love and wishing you an incredible week in this Matrix. In today's video, we have a really in-depth Gematria decode to kick things off, as well as a thorough review of the charts, since we're in the final weeks of Q4 to finish out this year of 2022. I'll even be getting into some technical analysis on the traditional markets today, as well as our usual Bitcoin, Ethereum, and XRP analysis, after I share some really important date connections using numerology and astrology in today's decode. But before we get into that, I wanted to let you know that I'm running my final sale on my courses for this year and the foreseeable future. So this will be the last flash sale I'll have on YouTube for my courses. So if you want to take advantage of this sale, you can go to watersabove.com/holiday sale and use the promo code HOLIDAY2022 at checkout. I currently have 3 full courses available on my website. The beginner level crypto mastermind, if you're looking to learn how to become an investor in this market, how to build your portfolio, learn my strategies for combining technical analysis with Gematria so you can learn how to read the charts and be able to decode the market on your own and become self-reliant so you could develop your own investment thesis. And this course also includes my exit strategy blueprint, so you'll even be able to learn how to de-risk from this market when that time comes. And then I have the part 2 to the crypto mastermind called Advanced Trading for those who already have some basic technical analysis skills and want to step up their game and learn how to safely trade this market while staying profitable along the way. And lastly is my expansion mastermind, which is my newest course in the series for those who want to expand their consciousness with my first ever coaching course that covers everything from health and wellness, fasting, detox, mindset coaching, practical applications for manifestation, and step-by-step course lessons that teach you how to master any skill and keep you focused and able to remove the distractions in the process towards self-mastery. So if you're interested in any of those courses, they're on sale now, and the link can be found in the description of this video and in the pinned comment below. So if you're new here, we do cryptocurrency technical analysis and combine it with Gematria, numerology, and astrology to understand these markets. Feel free to subscribe and turn on the bell notification to stay updated on when new videos come out. And make sure to give this video a like and share this channel with other conscious beings to help grow our community. And with that being said, let's take the clear pill. So we're going to be getting into some really important date connections, but first things first, today is December 21st, which is the winter solstice. So this is always an important date because it's the 12/21, which is the mirror, the number 12 and 21. But what I want to get into, the more esoteric thing to share, is that between this date, which is today, the solstice, and the Rosh Hashanah date, which we've been talking about a lot over the past year. This was the last day of the Shemitah, the 7-year cycle. And it's had a lot to do with cryptocurrency because crypto is the new economy. And where this will go, super interesting connection. We're actually going to bring this over to the periodic table. And I just want you to see the connection between these two dates is 86 days. And right here, we have a big connection with krypton. And this is the origin of the word crypto. This is from the Greek kryptos, which means hidden or secret. And that is the word crypto. That's where we actually have that prefix from. So look at the logo for Krypton. It's that 86. That's a really important connection here because this goes back to Mercury by the code. So again, using Gematria, we have that 86 right there in Mercury. And we know we have that 23 in Chaldean with Mercury, which ties us back to Bitcoin 23. And this has everything to do with Mercury because Mercury is all about finances, but specifically the fiat money system, money printed out of thin air. Mercury is the prince of the power of the air. It has to do with commerce and merchandise. And this is the Federal Reserve System. So the god of the Federal Reserve System is Mercury. So let's continue. This is really amazing, right? How this all ties in, but I'm actually going to show you even deeper by the code. If we type in Krypton, we have this 29 in Chaldean, and then we're currently in Sagittarius. So let's just show you even by the zodiac that we're in. Sagittarius is giving us that 29 in the same cipher. And why this matters so much is because 29 is the 10th prime number, and you could see that right here with 10th prime, and today is the day leaving 10 days in the year. So we tied this back to the zodiac and also the date connection between these two dates, specifically to Krypton, which has everything to do with cryptocurrency. So think about this, 29 showing up both in the Chaldean of Sagittarius and the word Krypton, and that's the 10th prime number. Today is the day leaving 10 days left in the year. Absolutely amazing. And you could just quickly see with the date numerology what I was saying before, the 12 and the 21. Well, today also has a standard date numerology of 12. And that one day that we had the 12/12 with the 12 date numerology was the day that Sam Bankman-Fried was allegedly arrested. And I shared that in my last video when we were doing that decode. So in sidereal, we're actually going to be in Sagittarius until the 15th, but today is technically the last day of Sagittarius in tropical zodiac, but consider sidereal as well. So again, this is definitely a mind-blowing connection with the number 29 and being the 10th prime, matching the zodiac sign to even the amount of days left in the year. So let's keep this going. We know that we're in the Saturnalia festival, and Saturnalia ends on the 23rd. Now that's really important because this will be the day of the new moon. So we know the new moon tends to have more of a bullish energy, but when we're looking at the lunar cycles and excluding eclipses, we're just talking about microcycle tops or microcycle bottoms. So this right now, the energy we're in is an overall downtrend. So even though the prices are low, we're still seeing bullish momentum into new moons, and we see bearish momentum into full moons, and that has not changed since. So just consider that we're still in this energy. We haven't even had the new moon yet. It'll be in 2 days from today on the 23rd of December. You could see that right there. So now we have another date connection, because if we take from this date to Rosh Hashanah, we see 88 days. Now this we know is crucial because the 23rd and Rosh Hashanah both have the same date numerology, the 77 date numerology. Now, these are 88 days apart, so another really important power number. Another thing that matters a lot about this 88 connection is December 23rd is the day leaving 8 days left in this year. 8's a very important number. It's the movement of the sun, the analemma. It's also the Taurus field, the Mobius strip. You turn it sideways, you have the infinity symbol. You know, we could keep going. It's really important. Even that infinity symbol has become the metaverse symbol. It is also one of the symbols of the god of Mammon, which has everything to do with the worship of money, not having money or wanting to be abundant. It's the worship of it and the worship of the material. This also comes back to Mercury, like I was talking about earlier. So let's keep this going, because we're really, packing a lot in short amount of time. I know these decodes could sometimes be long, but they really are packed full of gems. And anyone who's taking notes, you're going to be able to apply this to your own decodes. Now, we have the following day, which will be Christmas Eve, and this is the day leaving 7 days left in the year. That matters a lot because everything has been about the number 7. We just left the year of the Shemitah, the 7-year cycle, and Shemitah ended on the 77 date numerology, and we're in the year of the Jubilee now. So, like I told everyone for a long time now, the year of 2023 is very important all the way up until September 15th of 2023, which will be Rosh Hashanah next year. That's the Jubilee year practiced with the Hebrew calendar. So that is important. 7 days left in the year in the Jubilee year. Now, we also have this December 25th. We know it is Christmas. And then next week, we'll be starting the 52nd week of the year. And that will also be the last day of Hanukkah. So that'll be this upcoming Monday. The stock market will be closed that day. So crypto will be trading alone. Keep that in mind. During this time, we'll actually be in tropical Capricorn. So I just want to show you with that 52 connection. So really quickly, you can see week 52 starting on December 26th. And if I type in Capricorn, you're going to see that 52 in the full reduction cipher. And you're also going to see that 97. Now, the reason that 97 is so important is because it's the 25th prime number. So you have right there 25 right next to 52. That is the mirror, as above, so below. And this all connects to the week of the year we'll be in. Capricorn 52, and you could see right there, week 52, starting on the 26th. We will be in the tropical system. So this is really important because cryptocurrency also equals 52 in Chaldean. Also, crypto equals 25 in Chaldean, another connection. And you see crypto equals 97, just like Capricorn equals 97. Now, this is obvious why this is all connected, because Capricorn is ruled by Saturn, and Satoshi Nakamoto is Saturn. This is all about Saturn, okay? So the Shemitah year is the year of Saturn. We're in the Jubilee year now, where Saturn really, swings his scythe, and we have this big economic transit point. So just consider this. If you take the day of the 28th of December and you actually connect it to Rosh Hashanah, you're going to have 93 days. And there's another Saturn connection with 93 in Gematria. So this is all happening in Capricorn, by the way. And you're probably aware Capricorn is an earth sign. We have Earth giving you 52 and 25, just like I was showing you before. Capricorn had that 25-52 connection. So this is all regarding the last week of the year. And we know for a fact that during the time of Sagittarius into Capricorn is where we've seen Bitcoin hit all of its all-time highs and all of its all-time lows in the cycle. This is why I'm telling you guys to pay attention to all these connections and consider all of this, because I see the full moon of January, the January full moon of 2023. I believe it'll be the 6th or 7th of January. That is where I'm anticipating crypto to take one more leg to the downside. Bitcoin can hold structure, but I think altcoins will continue to slide as we've seen them. So remember what I've been telling people for the past 3 to 4 months, where I was saying I do anticipate the market to move down overall, and even into this end of the year, into the beginning of the year. And although Bitcoin and ETH had a little bit of a move up over the past new moon, it doesn't necessarily mean that the altcoins are all going to follow that energy, because right now we're watching the shitcoin market, completely tumble and fall to pieces. So this is important to pay attention to. That had everything to do with the last lunar eclipse, that FTX ritual and everything else that followed it. That's why we're seeing this market do what it does. It was a ritual, okay? That's always coming back to astrology, numerology, Gematria. So I believe this Capricorn, thing that I'm sharing with everyone could be useful. And I want you guys to go and take this, build off of the decode, put what you know in the comment section below. So before we get into the TA, go ahead, give this video a like if you haven't already. Spread some love in the comment section. That's what we're all about here. Give this video a like so we could help out the algorithm and spread this out to more wolves. Also, again, we will be getting into some TA on the crypto market, but I would love to start out today with some traditional market analysis. So I'm going to quickly run through the Dow Jones, NASDAQ, and S&P. I don't normally do this, so today is a very special video. So right here we have an obvious pattern. This is the Dow Jones. This was the fake out pump to the upside into Q1 of 2020, which led to the C-scam crash. And you could see this created a big volatile event, which led to an insane bull run. And now we're getting this clear multi-month pattern, some sort of like a descending broadening wedge, if you wanted to call it that. This is a full year in the making, by the way. And we've had multiple rejections at the top of this prior resistance, multiple touch points at the bottom at that support. But since we've actually broken out above it and lately have back tested the outside. So if I zoom in, you're going to see something very clear and something very important to consider, which is a prior resistance is seemingly flipping into a new support. We can't make that call just yet, because after we break through a resistance and you back test it, now you want to see if we could break the prior highs in the micro cycle. So until we see the Dow actually clear like 35,000 points, this isn't necessarily anything to get, to throw a party over. I would like to see how this interacts over the January and February full moon, because you'll see what I'm about to share in a moment. I do think the Dow will actually break through the support and probably keel over, start getting back into the 31,000 territory. So let me take you to the NASDAQ and the S&P so you could kind of see what's going on. So now we have a different story with the NASDAQ, the US 100. This is showing clear rejections on this trend line. And let me just quickly show you the S&P, and you're going to see a similar thing. So boom, we have perfect rejections at that trend line. Now let's go back to the NASDAQ, see what's going on. I have a bearish fib pulled from this swing low to that swing high. That's in reverse. It's done on purpose. This is log scale, and the fib setting is in log as well. Now we can see that we're just coming back to the 1618, which is something that we did earlier in the summertime around June. Now we had this big jump back up, still rejections, and now even making a lower low, still playing around on this golden ratio, the 1618. So this is a key level. And what I'm thinking of is, until we break this trend line and solidify an actual new high in the structure, because locally we have higher lows, which is a good thing. It's kind of a bottoming thing. I don't think we're out of the weeds yet. I think this is actually going to take another leg lower into the January full moon. And once it breaks this structure right here, somewhere around 10,300 points, this thing is going to really slide. So right now we have a little bit of support. If you were to look at this horizontal level right here, it's pretty obvious now. This is a back test level going back to September of 2020. We could even call this a little bit of a back test as well if you want to think of this as a liquidity zone. And we have returned back to it. But if we start to break this level of 10,600, this is going to get bloody, real messy. The next level is going to be 9,700. And if it does that, that would be indicative of, more continuation of the downside for the overall market as a whole. Obviously, the NASDAQ is mostly tech stocks, and that makes a lot of sense because tech stocks were getting a lot of funny money pumped into them, a lot of ghost companies, ghost corporations. The Federal Reserve over the year of 2020, 2021 just printed money to oblivion and put it in a bunch of bullshit companies. And that's why we're watching the sell-off happen. And on the individual level, it's going to continue to get worse. So just consider this, family. I do consider that we're going to go lower in this cycle for the NASDAQ as well. Here is what is kind of solidifying it and making it all seem like reality for me. It's this chart. I'm not going to be getting into the full-blown analysis on this chart because I've been doing that over on my Patreon, and I have the time to do that on my Patreon. So go check that out if you're interested in more analysis. Recently, I just did a holiday special, Red Pill podcast, over at patreon.com/watersabove. And that was an insane episode. It was almost an hour and a half long. I covered over 10 different projects. So if you're interested in seeing more than just me looking at Bitcoin, Ethereum, and XRP, that's where you want to check out. I even recently covered Hex, which I know is pretty big now in our community. We have a lot more people in our community coming over from the Hex community. Appreciate your support. So getting back into this, we're seeing clear rejections at this resistance line. Now we're getting a little bit of a move up. That's to be anticipated in the short term because we have the new moon. Again, like I told you, new moons, we have microcycle tops. So we could probably maybe even come up as high as 3,950, then roll over at this 382 fib. And I would assume by the January full moon, we're going to be testing this 236. So in the month of January, testing the 3,760 range, breaking through the 236, you're coming back down to a double bottom. So that could all be in play by the February full moon. That is my play. By the February full moon, I think S&P is going to at least be at a double bottom. I think the NASDAQ will start to break structure to the downside. And I think the Dow Jones will start to break below its prior resistance. What seems to be a local support, I think it'll break down lower, probably come down into the 31,000 territory again. So that's my play. And that's all going to have a lot to do with the overly dramatic sell-off we've seen in the DXY. This is all sort of tied together. So let's get into Bitcoin. Going to be doing a quick analysis today because we haven't had a huge update on the market, any new changes since the last video that I put out. But remember in my last video, I talked about this yellow line around 16,300. We got a perfect back test on that area. Now what we're seeing is this area of resistance, it's sort of becoming a retest area. Technically, you'd want it about here. because you're looking at daily closes. But if we were to just look at a range, it would be somewhere around 17,000 flat. So now that we've come up and finally decided to get a little bit of a fake out to the upside, breaking through this level of 17,000, now we're just back testing it on the reversal. So this is like a kickback, very normal price action. Okay. So getting rejected here would be a clear sign that you're probably going to return down into the 16,000 again, and below 16,000, you really have thin air. So the January full moon is my time frame to anticipate Bitcoin to touch 15,000 at least one more time, and we have to see how that holds. If it cannot hold 15,000, I think we're going to get a swipe down to 13,700. 13,700 is my perfect area for the reaccumulation phase. So with that being said, I'm potentially seeing a 13 to 14,000 Bitcoin in the beginning of this year. That would not be weird to me, especially with the number 7 and the number 14 and how important they are. 7 plus 7 is 14. I could assume we hit that 14,000 as we transition into the 223 year, the skull and bones year. If you think about it, 2023. One other thing to mention is during this FTX nonsense, after that event, we watched Bitcoin trade around 17,000. And I showed you in my decode how many times the number 17 and 71 was showing up. We saw FTX drop 71.71% down to $1.07, So that number 17 we were seeing inside of the Gematria as well. We have FTX giving you 17 in Chaldean. We have FTT giving you 17 or reversible reduction. I mean, I could keep going. The reason why that 17 is so critical is because it's the 7th prime number. Everything is about the 7s during the Shemitah cycle. So I think that 14 is in play because it's divisible by 7. It's just like a basic intuitive decoding at this point, because we have yet to see a full-blown correction of 85% for Bitcoin. That's what we've seen in the last 2 cycles. We don't need to see that happen again necessarily. But with this sell-off thus far and watching the Bitcoin dominance get back up to 42%, and with my analysis of the Bitcoin dominance potentially getting to 44 to 45% again, that to me says that, the bottom is close. It's real close. And a lot of people want a sub 10K Bitcoin. It's a lot of emotion, a lot of sentiment right now. But when it comes to the charts, I mean, seeing Bitcoin just take a quick slide down to 13 would be enough for the finality of what is called a selling climax. And then we would have our basically a relief rally, something we would call an automatic rally in Wyckoff method. That would take us into the next eclipse of April. So on the analysis side of things, we fulfilled a retest of the bottom wicks here at this 18,300 level. The next level to the upside would just be this 19,000 psychological level. It was a 150-day support that we broke through on the lunar eclipse. We've yet to retest it. Thus far, we are holding higher lows in the sequence. But if we start to close or trade below 16,000, that's going to get messy. You're probably going to have a double bottom or a break of structure, more than likely going to be happening after the new year, in the beginning of the year at the full moon of January. So downside targets have been revealed, upside targets have been revealed. Let's go to ETH, and ETH is definitely looking like it wants to build a lot of support here around the $1,200 level. That's great. Build as much support here as possible. If we start to close below 1,100, this thing's going to slide down below 1,000 probably pretty quickly. That would be indicative of Bitcoin moving into 15K territory as well. And then any closures above this local high of about 1320, that would be a signal to probably move up into this prior support trend line, which now has yet to be back tested officially. That could be 1470. I doubt that's going to come first. More than likely, even with this new moon, we're going to have end of year sell-off kind of energy because of tax loss harvesting. That's very normal, nothing new. And that's why I'm thinking low volatility and stable for the rest of this year. Maybe into the final days of the year, we have a little bit of a reaction, depending on how much buyback this gets off that recent sell-off we've seen with the Dow and the overall market. But in for crypto, we're not going to have the same amount of money entering this market as we would usually have at this stage in the cycle. So with that being said, you got to remember, guys, a lot of eyes have turned away from the crypto market due to what happened with Sam Bankman-Fried and FTX. It's becoming less sexy by the day to be in crypto. Everyone has to admit it. And that's what they do. That's what the market maker does to manipulate you and get you fearful. That's not what the wolf pack, falls for. We're looking at this from the esoteric, and that's what's been helpful for us thus far over the past almost 2 years now. So top level has been revealed. Bottom level, it's pretty obvious by now. Breaking below 1100, we could slide down to 1000 flat. 1000 is a psychological level that ETH will probably play around with for a moment, but I would not be surprised if we were to slide below 1000 into either the January or February full moon. The reason why it's February possibilities for altcoins is just because they are going to slow drain. Bitcoin is going to make its moves and recover according to lunar cycles a lot stronger. But when it comes to this energy in the altcoins, we're talking about a totally different thing at this stage of the run. If we were talking like 6 months ago, 7 months ago, I would say something different, but I'm adjusting as we move along because we need to. Bitcoin is the sun. Bitcoin is about to move into a solar cycle. When Bitcoin moves into a solar cycle, it becomes way more powerful than the altcoins. And that energy could last up to 1.5 to 2 years. So that's why it's really important. The people who don't know about the esoteric side of this market, they keep falling for all this nonsense. And it's also as problematic on the Bitcoin maxi side. Those people don't know anything about the esoteric as well, and they just sound like a clown when they're promoting only one coin, So we're not looking at this market from one angle. This is a very multifaceted perspective here. Now let's look at XRP. Not a whole lot to talk on besides the fact that we did swipe down into 33 cents. So we've come down into these lower levels. I've discussed how I would anticipate 31 cents before we start seeing anything above 45, and thus far that's seemingly playing out. So that's great. Thus far we're moving closer to our targets. XRP is in a weird energy right now as we're in the year of the tiger and we're transitioning into the year of the rabbit. I know XRP plays a huge role in the esoterica of this market, so this will take some time for it to recover and to really, really show itself off. In the meantime, we're heading towards reaccumulation levels. Anything below 31 cents, I think, is a steal regarding where the automatic rally will take us into March and April. So at this time, we just have to look at 33 cents. If we start closing below that level, I do think 31 is in play, and into 30 cents is definitely possible, and that could be happening around the January full moon. So upside targets would be, you got to get above this trend line and still maybe 41 cents at best. I don't see XRP clearing 41 cents before it at least comes down and fills out this lower area. So I'm going to leave it at that. Definitely a longer video today. Like I shared earlier, I am running that end of the year sale on my courses. watersabove.com/holiday sale. It will be the last sale that I share on YouTube for the foreseeable future. So it's a last chance. If you wanted to get in on any of these educational materials, especially for where we're at in the cycle, this is definitely the time to take advantage of that. So again, I'm so grateful for everyone's support, wishing you a beautiful rest of your day in the Matrix. And if you are celebrating the holiday, wishing you and your family a beautiful holiday. Much love.